It's insane.
I'm John, and tonight I want answers about Ketanji Brown Jackson and daylight savings time. There's no stopping us now because we're live.
I'm John Thompson.
I'm John A. Vink.
I'm Keith Stattenfield.
I'm Loretta Beavers.
I'm AJ Minnick.
I'm Jennifer Sim.
I'm Jim too.
I'm Bobby Chastain. These stories tonight on John Wants Answers.
John wants answers. John wants answers. Give John answers. Give John answers. John wants answers. John wants answers. Give John answers now.
Check your calendar. If it says April, wait for it.
14th.
April 14th, then we're live.
It's right up there. You could have just looked.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess I did. We had a great show planned for you tonight.
Yeah,
But
but-
our guest canceled.
Yeah, couldn't make it.
So then I called Keith.
Yeah, that's what
Keith
happens.
Stattenfield.
Yeah. You wouldn't believe how many guests cancel. Usually about 72 hours after John mails them the link to the previous show so they can see what they've gotten themselves into.
They reconsider their
Yeah,
commitment.
yeah.
Yes.
They're like,
It's happened.
yeah, my grandma died.
And my other one. Welcome back to Keith. You were gone last month.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
I'm upset to hear you did a show without me. I thought this was our special thing. But now I hear you'll just do a show with anybody.
Not just anybody. We, the John Wants Answers organization,
That's you.
had
That's
a
you.
black
That's
person
you. You
come
say
on
you say I.
for Black History Month.
Wow.
Finally.
Yes.
It's just been you and I talking about black people year
Sure.
after year, and finally
In March,
this black
Comma,
person came on to talk
Women's History Month, comma, you had
we were on
who?
CP time. We had Hence Singleton. He's a comedian
Okay.
who I had worked with on another production.
Okay.
I was doing some live theater.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
Yes, you met him.
Yeah. Sure, theater. Okay. It was in a barn.
It was in a barn.
Yeah, I guess that's how Shakespeare started.
Yeah. There was no hay. It wasn't like a hay barn. It was just a,
There was a little hay.
There was no hay in the barn.
They had hay over to the side. That's what they served the food off of.
Did they really?
Yeah.
I didn't go back there.
Wow.
They had special food for that talent.
Yeah.
But you were on a cruise last month.
I was on the ocean,
And so I wanted to know, did everyone survive the cruise?
as far as I know.
Now, when this whole COVID thing started,
Yes, I was on the ocean on the same cruise. Not the same cruise.
the ships, they were full of COVID people when they came back,
Well,
right?
no, not full.
But they were concerned.
There were a few ships back in 2020 where people
And they went
came down with COVID, and then they
got
since
barricaded.
nobody knew what was going on, they were like, well, we're not going to let you off the ship because a lot of you got COVID.
Right. They're stranded in, like, ports.
Yes. That
But-
didn't happen to us.
So in this ship, this cruise that you were
this
on,
year,
did anyone have a positive COVID result?
reportedly, everyone was tested negative at the port before they got on the ship.
Okay.
Everyone had also done another test within the 72 hours before that. So they had 2 negative tests before you were allowed to walk on the gangplank up onto the ship.
All right. Did they have any tests
On the ship, there were no mandatory tests.
Okay.
If you wanted to get a COVID test, you could go get a COVID test. One person tested positive for COVID on the 4th day of the cruise and got quarantined and is apparently fine.
Do you think that guy caught the COVID before he got on the
He
boat? but
probably
too
caught it
recently to get it?
traveling to Florida because COVID is about a 2 to 4 day incubation.
Okay. So he had it when he walked on the ship, but it was undetectable by the tests.
I'm not a medical doctor.
We have a medical doctor in the house.
Don't look at me.
Well, we are looking at
We
you.
are looking at you.
Okay.
Okay. Medical doctor refuses to comment.
Well, that's yeah. That's she's the smart one.
Okay. But in the end, everyone
That was it. One person we're
person
told
and
tested
no one else
positive. No one else.
caught it from this guy.
That's correct. Even that person's spouse did not test
Did they
positive for COVID.
still share a room? Or
They-
was
no. He got sent off to a medical quarantine room.
Was it a better room than when he came on?
I don't know.
Oh,
I mean, probably not, because any room you're stuck staying in,
okay.
it's probably not
That
as
could
good
be a
as.
scam.
I think it was just another passenger room, but I don't know.
Okay. Can you imagine if you like get the crappiest meeting probably get,
Sure.
and then orchestrate a positive COVID test and get upgraded to this great room?
Okay.
That could be a plan. That
You're
could be
still,
a scam.
you're still, technically paying a couple grand to sit in a tiny metal box
and you
not
have to
leave
stay
for a
in
week.
the room. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, I'm glad the cruise.
Yeah, it was great. It was
fine.
delightful. I would tell you should come, but I kind of don't want you there.
I don't want to be there. Okay, last month. So, I've been saying all along that during this show, your main goal is to derail the show.
It's not my main goal. I mean, that's among my many goals.
Turns out you're not the only one.
Wow.
As I said last month,
Yeah,
we
there are
had
other people are also smart like me.
we had a Black History Month episode.
Yes, Black History Month.
We had Hans Singleton, black person
Singleton.
from on the show.
Yes.
And he tried to get me to say the N-word.
Ooh, did he?
And I was not going to fall for that.
I should watch the show.
I did not. You should watch the show.
I'm not going to, but I should.
We talk a lot about you on the show.
Of course.
And I'm not sure he might have called you the N-word,
Wow.
but I had no part of that. I was not going to jump
Okay.
in.
Sure. Yeah, you're a nice Canadian boy. I'm surprised you even know which word the N-word is. Could you get him to say it?
Oh, he said it many times.
Okay, so you knew
Liberally.
So you knew which N-word he was talking
Yes, and you will know which N-word when you watch the show.
about. Okay.
And you'll see me saying, I'm not going to say that.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've risen above things.
I am smarter than I look.
Well. Okay.
Our first topic is Ketanji Brown Jackson. Am I saying it right?
I have no idea.
Ketanji? Ketanji. I'm being told by a medical doctor it's Ketanji,
Yeah.
which they say phonetically, but like in Canada we would say Ketanji, like taco or pasta.
Yeah, those are three words that you all say wrong in Canada.
No, we say different in Canada. You know they say schedule in England and aluminium?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they also say those words wrong.
So you're saying Ketanji
Ketanji Brown.
Brown Jackson. Okay.
Everyone's just going to call her KBJ.
KBJ. New Justice. That's who she is.
Tentative.
Do they call her the notorious KBJ yet?
I don't think so. I think you've got to be in. I think you got to be a Supreme Court justice for a couple of years before they'll tack on notorious.
Does everybody get nicknames?
No.
So RGB, Ruth
The
Bader
notorious
Ginsburg,
RGB, yes.
got her that nickname.
Yeah, RBG.
And it wasn't like in the first year.
No.
It was like the last 5, let's say. Is that
Yeah,
fair
maybe
to say?
10. Like there was a movie.
There was a movie. Was the movie called Notorious?
I believe the documentary was called The Notorious
But I think then
RBG.
they took the name from her nickname.
Yes,
I think
yes.
she had a nickname.
I don't think the movie invented it.
So do they all get nicknames eventually?
I'm going to say yes,
Okay.
but probably not, because I can't think of most of their nicknames.
Like Brett Kavanaugh. He's
He's
the drunk one.
He's the drunk one.
Okay. Amy Barrett.
Amy Coney Barrett.
She's what? She's the right wing one.
Well, that's more than one of them.
Okay.
I mean, Scalia was. Yeah.
So KBJ, she's the first of what?
She's the first KBJ on the Supreme Court.
She's the first.
She was the first black woman
woman.
nominated to the Supreme Court, and now the first black woman confirmed to the Supreme Court.
Yes. Is she not yet on the Supreme Court?
That's correct.
So if she replaces some guy,
Breyer,
Justice
Justice Breyer.
and he's retiring,
He's announced his intention to retire.
so he's not yet
He
retired.
is still a Supreme Court justice.
Okay. When is he?
End of the
off?
term is what he announced.
When does that happen?
Usually after June or July.
Okay. So
You know, the rulings will dribble out. And when they have announced their last ruling from all the cases that they heard since the session started, which I think is October 1st, that Supreme Court session has ended, and he announced he would retire at that point.
Was
He could retire tomorrow. He could be like, well, I'm going to go golf.
You don't have to give a notice. You could just like say one.
Yeah,
morning,
it's not,
I'm
there's no
out.
2-week requirement.
Yeah.
You could just die, or someone could hold a pillow over your face for a couple hours.
That's also dying.
Well, yeah.
Was Breyer, was he left or right leaning?
Left leaning.
Left leaning. Okay.
He is one of the.
So the mixture isn't going to change.
No, it's still going to be 6 fairly conservative justices and 3 kind of central justices that we're forced to call left wing because we don't have any
It's all relative.
actual
right?
significant progressive justices in the Supreme Court.
Now, we talked about Supreme Court on episode 1
Wow.
of John Wants Answers. And so I'm asking you, did she attend Harvard Law School? Because in episode 1, you indicated that's where they all came from.
Yes, she did attend Harvard
did.
Law School.
So the
She
rule-
also worked on the Harvard Law Review, just like numerous other Supreme Court justices have, and former President Obama.
What is a Harvard Law Review?
It's like a publication at Harvard Law School.
When I was in university, I wrote for the school paper called Excalibur.
Wow, it's like that,
It's like that.
but actually important.
Yeah. I wrote about it's not a dick thing.
Wow.
It's not a dick thing.
Can I find that on the internet?
I will put it there for you.
Okay.
It's a dick thing was a radio program produced by the York University radio station,
Sure.
and they won an award for it.
Okay.
And they were against the CBC, and they
Wow.
won against the CBC. And so I wrote an article about them winning the award
Okay.
in the newspaper. So it's like multimedia. It was print reporting on radio.
That's not multimedia.
No,
That's just a
two media.
print story about radio.
Yeah. but-
Like multimedia would be if it was audio and in print, or
Okay.
if it included multiple types of media.
Now, when this lady, KBJ,
Yes.
when they confirmed her, what was the vote?
53 to 47.
Sounds like it was pretty much along party lines.
Yes. Well, yes.
So did all the
All
Democrats vote for her,
Democrats and the 2 independents voted for her.
including the Manchin guy?
He's a Democrat, yes.
He's not seemed to be on board with the party
He's-
agenda.
I would agree with you on that observation. Yeah.
So, but he voted to confirm,
He did.
and we've got 3 Republicans voted to confirm.
Yes.
Are they now persona non grata in the Republican Party?
Kind of.
But it's not like if they had all voted no, it would have been 50-50, and 50 votes is all you need to confirm.
No.
Correct?
No, you need a majority.
Oh, so Kamala would have came in and said
Correct.
Confirm.
Yes. As
Okay.
president of the Senate, she would have broken the tie.
tiebreaker. Okay. So we didn't need the Republicans, but it's nice to have some.
It's nice to have them. Yeah, yeah.
I went to the Senate website,
Wow.
and they have historical votes of previous justices.
Sure, of course they
And
do.
sometimes I saw a vote 98-0.
Yes, yes. Until the last 15 years, it was frequently.
Yeah. Except for this Bork guy. Bork, they said, we don't want him.
That is correct. They did say that.
Did they find some information about him that was a little too cray-cray for the 80s?
At the time, a majority of the Democratic senators thought some of his ideas were a little outlandish. And then he lived another 30 years and kept going on TV. And then we all realized his ideas were really outlandish.
Oh, okay. So, democracy won.
Sure.
Okay. So, I want to read something I read. That South Carolina's Graham, that would be
Yes.
Lindsey Graham,
Lindsey Graham.
and Kentucky's Rand Paul,
Rand Paul, yes.
voted against Jackson. Neither senator was allowed to vote on the Senate floor because they were not wearing ties.
That's correct.
They voted no from the Senate cloakroom.
Yeah.
Essentially amounts to members lounge off the floor.
Yeah.
Okay, what's this rule about you can't vote if you're not wearing a tie?
It's just a crazy rule. The Senate has all kinds of crazy rules.
Is that in the
like you can't,
Constitution? Or just
no,
the rules
no,
of
it's
the
just the
Senate?
rules of the Senate. You can't have a cell phone on the floor of the Senate.
Do they leave all their cell phones at their office, or they turn it
They're
off?
supposed to. Like they're, they've occasionally gotten in trouble for having cell phones on the floor of the Senate.
What's the trouble?
Well, like they get admonished.
Like bad you?
Yeah, yeah. Like there's
So-
there's no way to punish a senator.
It seems like there's no teeth in that. Okay, so they just and they were both
You're not allowed to have
seen-
weapons on the floor of the Senate.
Weren't they getting freaked out because they added a metal detector
That was in the House.
in the house?
Yeah.
That's a new thing.
Yes.
Was there a shooting problem in the house they had to worry about? They had to pass this law for the.
Yes.
Oh really? Okay. Apparently they were seen wearing ties earlier in the day.
Yeah. It was just a thing.
they
It was
were just being-
They just didn't want to be on camera voting against her.
They were being dicks.
I mean, a
about
bunch
it.
of them left the chambers right after the vote when it was announced. It was very unprofessional behavior.
When I'm at work and I'm done my job, I walk out too.
Wait, your work?
Back in the days. Back in the
When I
days.
worked. Back in the days when you.
And after my job, I just walked out of the building. So,
Yeah.
were there's more stuff they had to do? Because I would, like, if they leave.
I'm going to say when you get to the end of Hamilton, and you see the curtain goes down,
Uh-huh.
do you just turn on your heels and bolt out of the theater?
Yes.
No, you wait and you clap.
You do?
Yeah. You're doing
Just
it
gonna
wrong.
have to get through the crowd. It's going to be all in the way. I'll try to get out as soon as I can.
Ow.
Although I'm going to see Paul McCartney, and the first time the lights go down,
Yes.
I'm going to be like, there's going to be an encore. There's always an
There's
encore.
always an encore. Like I don't know
He's
why
gonna
we
do-
call it an encore because it's planned.
I know. But it's going to be Hey Jude. I don't want to miss Hey Jude. So I'm going to
Okay.
stay there in my seat, maybe clap a little bit. I don't know. Depends how I feel.
Sure.
And then-
You're not going to stand up
But
and clap.
after the first
Everyone
encore-
stands up. He's old. You got to stand up and clap. The man's got a fixed number of standing ovations left.
Like Phil Collins? I think he was sitting down on his last tour. So this new lady, I want to get it right, KBJ.
You scrolled back to get that part right.
Yeah. I've heard from the right-wingers that she's going to legalize child pornography. Why would they think that? Why would they say that?
It's just a slur.
Yeah.
I mean, QAnon is, in a sense, focused on the assertion that Democrats are abusing children. And so that's just
Weren't they complaining that she gave out sentences that were light on a child pornographer?
they said that she gave sentences which were less than what the guidelines that legislatures have passed say. But judges are supposed to have discretion. And many judges give sentences that are less than the guidelines or more than the guidelines based on what they think
The
of
scenario.
this particular case is.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, if judges were not supposed to have discretion, we would not need judges. The legislature would just say, you go to prison for 71 years, and when the police arrest you, they would just take you down the road to the jail, and 71 years later, you would get out.
It sounds like a Supreme Court justice would no longer be involved in sentencing people
Pretty unlikely.
for this. Yeah. I wrote here, how is a Supreme Court justice confirmed?
Under the advice, or under the Constitution, which says presidential appointments are subject to the advice and consent of the Senate. The advice part, who knows what that means? But the consent part means
They
you
vote.
got a majority of affirmative votes.
What if the Senate decides we don't feel like going through all of this? And they neither confirm nor not confirm.
Then nobody can do anything about it.
Do you remember the time
Yeah, I remember a time when that happened. Yeah.
when we had this President Obama,
Yeah.
and it was like a year before his term was over.
Yeah.
Like about a year.
Yeah, he
said-
appointed Merrick
Garland.
Garland as his.
And the Senate was like,
Yeah, and Merritt left. I mean, Merrick Garland is now the Attorney General.
Now he is. Yeah.
He left.
Constellation.
He had previously been on the Washington, D.C. Court of Appeals. He had been on the Court of Appeals. He was going to be bumped up to the Supreme Court.
And the
He
Senate,
didn't.
The Senate
Then,
didn't even
then
bother.
Biden appointed him Attorney General.
Yes.
And then Biden appointed another judge to Merrick Garland's seat on the Court of Appeals. KBJ.
Well, that's who he appointed.
Yeah, that's who he appointed to Merrick Garland's seat.
Oh.
And then a year later, he recommended her to the Supreme
Now,
Court.
same
Yeah,
position.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
They might have been. They might have been happier with Merrick because he's a lot more center than she's probably going to be.
Because instead of Merrick, we got frat boy
Kavanaugh.
Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You see.
Yeah. 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 All right. Our next topic: Ukraine war. Okay, I heard some disturbing news.
Okay.
I heard Putin said that if Sweden and Finland try to join NATO, they're next for invasion. It's like, I'm thinking, Russia's going to invade all countries who are not in NATO. Is that? Or who, between now and from now, who try to join NATO, he's going to attack them all.
He's not having a lot of luck attacking the one.
Well, it's only a few months in.
Yeah.
World War II was like 5 years? 4 or 5 years?
I mean, it depends on
Depends
on
when
who it's a war for. Like for the United States, December 7th, 1941.
Okay.
And it was over in 45. So 4 years.
But when was Poland
And less than
invaded?
4 years. Poland, I think, was invaded in 39.
39. And then when was D-Day? 45?
No.
And after that was done, we still had like Japanese stuff to do, right?
Yes.
Yes.
6 more months.
Okay. So it's like a 5-year war. So we got
Okay.
some more war happening soon. I was thinking of going to Norway next spring. But if there is some World War III happening right next door in Sweden and Finland, I might delay my trip.
Well, I'll alert the media. I mean, maybe this will be the thing that keeps Putin from doing it. Like, sure, there's horrible atrocities and everything, but also you're going to ruin John's vacation.
John's
And
trip
he'll
to
be
see the
like,
Northern Lights.
oh, I didn't know.
Okay. That's all I had for Ukraine war.
Yeah, it
Is
wasn't
that
much.
There's more wars coming, not less.
I mean, you did ask, is Finland and Sweden next?
yes.
And it would have to be Finland, then Sweden. Just because
Well,
they're
if
not
you-
going to
if you do
they're
it
not going
in
to jump over Finland to invade Sweden first.
But you wouldn't expect them to do that.
Well, I
Which
don't
is why
expect them to
they
do that
might.
because they're not going to do that. Like that would be very silly.
Which is why they might think about it. Hey, like, hey, they'll never
Okay,
expect. They'll
that's true.
never expect.
That's true.
us
They
to do
will
that one.
never expect that.
Okay. So I'm getting the idea that Russia does not like NATO.
I think that's a good observation.
Canada's in NATO.
Yeah.
I have some secret information to tell you.
Okay. Look right into the camera, because trust me, nobody's watching, so you can
I
say
know.
you'll be safe with me.
I know someone in the Canadian military. Canada's in NATO. And they scan the air for planes. Russia, on like a weekly basis,
Yeah.
sends planes down
Sure.
to spy on us.
Yeah.
And so Canada sends up their CF-14 or whatever, some kind of warplane, up into the air to get the Russian MiGs to go away. And this happens frequently. And you never hear about it, right?
Russian MiGs?
I don't know what they are. Is a MiG with a Russia plane?
Well, MiG is a Russian plane, but
All my references are from Top Gun in
I
1986.
am curious how a MiG would get all the way to Canada. I mean, they don't have that much fuel.
Well, Russia
They're kind of
and Canada
more.
are pretty
They're kind of a
close.
little more short range.
They go over the top, right? Maybe it's not a MiG. I'm just saying the words I've heard
I
in
think
Top Gun.
it's much more likely to be a surveillance plane.
Okay, it's one of those. And they go over the top, like the North Pole. That's where
Okay.
Canada and Russia meet up there. Anyway, so
Yeah, well, there's water.
they're coming
but
over all the
sure,
time.
Yeah.
I'm saying they're coming over all the time. That's my information. That's my inside information. I hope no one gets
I
fired.
mean, the U.S. is like 3 miles from Russia.
Is it more than that? Like
No.
Alaska?
No, there's this island that is like 3 miles from the American island to the Russian island.
Did you know France is 10 miles from Canada?
Wow.
There is a French territory just off the coast of the easternmost Canada.
Yeah, sure.
There's
Yeah.
an island that is a French territory.
Yeah, I bet there's a French embassy in Canada.
Well, I'm not counting that. I'm not counting the embassy.
So you're not counting the other things where there's French territory.
But no, an
even
actual-
closer than 7
No, there's
miles.
actual land, like islands that are
What,
French.
like the land is somehow actually French?
Yeah.
It's like cheese.
No, it's like,
It's just land, and like the French claim it's their land. Like the
Yeah.
French say the embassy land is France.
okay. I don't think you get the point I'm trying to make. Moving on, daylight savings time.
Okay.
Now, I heard they passed in the Senate?
Yeah, it's a crazy SS thing.
That they're
Marco
going to-
Rubio just showed up on the floor of the Senate and went, "Hey, if nobody objects, how about we pass this bill?" And everyone was like, "Marco," and then it passed. And then like everyone was like, "What the fuck did the Senate just pass?"
Now, we're going to move permanently to daylight savings time. Is that correct?
I believe that's the intention of Marco's bill. Yes.
Does this have to go through the House
Yeah.
as well?
Yeah.
Does things look good?
No.
Things look bad?
No. It's dead in the water.
It's in the water.
Like nothing else is going to happen to the bill
Okay.
ever again.
Did they do this in the 70s, I heard?
Yeah, they did in the 70s. They tried to go permanent daylight savings time. Everyone hated it then.
Because what you're doing, it's not magic. You're moving an hour of daylight from the morning and sticking it.
Well, you're really
the
just
evening.
changing your clock.
Yeah, but effectively you're moving the daylight from the morning to the evening.
No, effectively, you're just changing your clock. You're just like, I'm gonna.
No, but
I'm
what you're
gonna-
doing is you're taking an hour of daylight from the morning and you're putting it in the evening.
Well, no, you're not. No, because see, in the morning, the daylight is still there in the morning.
But you're changing the clock.
Yeah, that's what I say.
So-
See, now you're with me. We're just changing the clock. We're just deciding that, hey, maybe we'll call 12 o'clock when the sun isn't actually overhead.
Okay, so
And then closer to 1 o'clock, the sun will actually be overhead. Or closer to 11 a.m., the sun will be, right? We can pick any time we want.
but if we always get up at 9 a.m. every day, we're going to notice that it's getting a lot darker in the winter than it used to be.
If you're getting up at 9 a.m. every day,
I'm retired, so yeah. 9
some
a.m.
days it's always going to be darker than other days. Because the Earth does this thing.
But on December 21st, 2024,
Sure.
it'll be way darker than it was December 21st, 2020.
Yes. But that's just because we changed the clock. I mean, you're
Yeah.
getting up at a different.
I'm saying there's the same amount of daylight hours in total.
Yes. We can't
Yes.
easily change that.
I'm just saying it's going to be, when you get it for work, it'll be, or walk to school, it's going to be darker than it used to be.
Well, again, like your work could be, instead of coming in at 9, why don't you come in at 10? And then it would be exactly the way it used to be.
Okay, I have this iPad.
Yes.
It cannot be software updated.
Well, can be, but we're not gonna.
Does that mean that from now on, it's going to be wrong time for half a year?
No.
Because it needs new information to change for daylight
No, we
savings
would,
time.
first of all, we may push an update for that.
Really?
But secondly, you could just change it yourself.
I thought I couldn't change the time on these because it synchronizes with something else beyond my
There's a
control.
little thing. Should I do daylight savings time? Right? Like, if you're in Arizona, which doesn't respect daylight savings time, you'd already be screwed. Half
No,
the year.
because they have database in here. You select where your time zone is. If you say Arizona, it knows no daylight savings time. If I say California, oh shit, the popo are here.
Again?
They're on to us. Let's get out of here. Wait. Don't leave the evidence. Don't leave the evidence.
I'm too old for this.